The so-called Equality Act that the House just passed is a pro-abortion bill. That's pretty much all it is, masquerading as something that everyone should be in favor of. It is pro-abortion, which is why you should not accept it and you shouldn't support it. So let me explain to you exactly why it's pro-abortion. Bear with me for a moment, but we first have to go back to 1978, to the first time a Pregnancy Discrimination Act in the United States was passed, where they said that discrimination on the basis of sex included pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions, and women affected by those conditions shall be treated the same for all employment-related purposes. Now, if it's not immediately clear to you how that's relevant to abortion, well, congratulations, you're a reasonable person. But if you're pro-abortion or an idiot, which is essentially the same thing, you look at that and you say that abortion is just healthcare, because that is something they believe. Abortion is just like any other medical procedure. And if that's the case, that means that employers should have to pay for these medical procedures, because you can't discriminate on the basis of pregnancy. And if abortion is once again just a medical procedure that a pregnant woman needs to have for whatever reason, then not paying for that is discrimination on the basis of sex. Now, it doesn't make any sense because that's stupid, but people honestly believe that, which is why back in 1978 they saw that possibility, and I guess they were a lot smarter than we are now, and they specifically said, this subsection shall not require an employer to pay for health insurance benefits for abortion. That is very clear. Now, they do include a few exceptions here, but by and large, they're saying that you can't require employers to pay for abortion, and that just makes sense. This seems like a good compromise to me. On the one hand, no one wants pregnant women to be discriminated against. That's not a good thing. On the other hand, there are some people who are so radical, they would take this to mean that you have to pay for abortion or else you're discriminating against pregnant women. So they looked at both of those, they weighed their options, and they came up with what I think was the best solution. The problem is, this new Equality Act that the House just passed doesn't take that same approach. So if we look at this bill, it has very similar wording to what we just saw, saying that pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical condition shall not receive less favorable treatment than other physical conditions, which is again the same basic thing that it already said. The problem is, this Equality Act, which is essentially replacing the 1978 bill we looked at in the first place, specifically does not exclude abortion. As a matter of fact, abortion is not mentioned at all in the bill. Now, maybe you think that that's an oversight and they don't actually mean to intend employers to have to pay for abortion. But I don't believe that's the case, because this is the same party who is actively trying to repeal the Hyde Amendment, which would force the government to pay for people's abortions. So to many Democrats, they don't really care who pays for the abortion as long as it's not the person who obtains the abortion. Whether it's the government, whether it's forcing employers to pay for the abortion of their employees, all of that is fair game, because after all, we need to be able to provide abortions and it needs to be free. So this is why I am very opposed to this bill. Again, even if we put aside all of the other things talking about gender identity and all the issues and controversies there, it's still a troubling bill. And if you thought that forcing nuns to pay for birth control was going too far, just imagine how much worse it's going to be when those same nuns have to pay for abortions. That is not something I want to see. And so if you don't want to see it either, make sure you're vocal and you recognize that the Equality Act is not really about equality. It's just a way for Democrats to push their pro-abortion agenda, as always. And I wish that weren't the case, but that's pretty much what it is. Let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. And I specifically didn't talk about all of the things about gender in this one because I think enough people are already doing that, but the abortion thing is kind of being overlooked by a lot of individuals. And if you know someone who is in favor of the Equality Act, well, make sure you share this video with them so they can know that they're going to be forcing employers and nuns like this to pay for abortion. And if they're still in favor of it, well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe they're not a very good friend. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.